Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to week number 33 of the TheHORRORman's SlashBack Saturday Challenge. This week's slasher movie theme is Splasher Slashers, and I will be giving my review for Tower of Evil. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. Tower of Evil is a haunting tale set in and around a deserted lighthouse of fog-shrouded Snape Island. The terror begins when a nude, crazed woman slaughters a sailor who visits the island. When she is taken back to civilization and an ancient relic is discovered, an expedition is mounted to solve the mystery of the island, which leads to a series of psychosexual murders. A truly horrifying movie, which is not for everyone. I thought that was really funny they put that on the back of the DVD. Isn't that enough to make you want to watch this one already? Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one. With this week's SlashBack Challenge theme of Splasher Slashers, we were challenged to watch and review a slasher film that had anything to do with water. I chose to review Tower of Evil basically because it takes place on an island and there's water all around. And I absolutely love the isolated lighthouse setting of this movie. The island is called Snape Island, and something very mysterious has happened to the former occupants. It seems like they have disappeared, and supposedly nobody knows what happened to them. Of course, it doesn't stop two young couples from visiting the island and having a good time. The movie opens up with two young couples after they have already been slaughtered, leaving only one survivor. I really enjoyed this opening sequence even though we don't get to see the murders happening. We do, however, get to see them later on in a flashback when our one survivor is going through some sort of psychedelic mental therapy. There's a lot of high-tech equipment with a lot of different colored flashing lights, and that's when we get a good look at what happened with the opening sequence. What's really odd about this scene is that you would think that we would only see the things from the perspective of our survivor character. But that's not what happens. We actually see everything that happened on the island. Even the things that happened when she wasn't around. But of course, this is just a minor nitpick complaint on my part. But it was definitely something that I noticed, so I wanted to mention it. Okay, so pretty much everything that I have described so far is only the start of the movie. We do end up following a second group of characters to the island, but overall I have to say that I highly enjoy Tower of Evil, and it's definitely one that I can highly recommend. It checks off all the boxes for what you could want in not only a slasher movie, but a horror movie in general. It has a fantastic set location. The lighthouse on the isolated island creates some fantastic atmosphere. The story is set up with a lot of mystery and suspense that keeps you wondering why Snape Island has such a bad reputation for being cursed or just simply bad luck for its visitors. Nobody wants to come to Snape Island, and we do find out why. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the cast of characters we have in Tower of Evil. So considering we have so many characters in this movie, I thought the best way for me to describe them would be to break them down in groups. So at first we have the Watson family, who formerly called Snape Island their home. I say formerly because at the start of the movie they have gone missing and nobody has seen them for 6 months. Now the whole reason why this family chose to live on Snape Island was because the husband-father character, Saul, had gone mad. His wife, Seretta, wanted to get him away from society, so basically they chose to live on this isolated island. It was also mentioned that they had a young child, or maybe it was even an infant, named Michael. Next up, we have the group of two young couples, and they have gone to Snape Island for a good time. And pretty much these characters, most of their screen time, they're all naked. And I had already mentioned that we have only one survivor from this group, and it's a girl named Penny, and it's through her flashbacks that we get to see what happened with the opening sequence. So next up, I wanted to mention the boat captain. Of course, his name is Jack. He and his father seem to be the only ones who are willing to bring visitors to Snape Island. Jack is sort of a mysterious character himself. I also wanted to mention that I thought it was really cool that the name of Jack's tiny boat was called Sea Ghost. The last group of characters we have mostly consist of archaeologists, but we do have one investigator who's still trying to solve the mystery behind the murders on Snape Island. The archaeologists are on the island because one of the murder victims at the beginning of the movie was killed by an ancient Phoenician sword, and they believe the island has more ancient Phoenician treasure. More specifically, ancient Phoenician treasure that belonged to Phoenician god Baal. Overall, I really enjoyed the characters in this movie, and I thought all the acting was really good, and I just really enjoyed the murder mystery storyline. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is the killer and the kills. So considering this movie has so much suspense and mystery surrounding on everything that's going on, there's not really a lot I'm going to be able to say about the killer, but I will say that most of the time, I do prefer a masked killer, and that's not what we get in this film. Now, I do also understand that we're not always going to get that. It's just something that I prefer. I will say that we do have a killer in this movie that's looking pretty rough. He has places on his skin that sort of looks like moss or seaweed. I'm not really for sure what it is, but the killer is definitely looking rough in this movie. There was something that I really liked about the setup of the killer in this movie. I really enjoy slasher movies that give you a hint that the killer is about to appear. It's just something that I find to be pretty fun with certain slasher movies. For an example, in the Friday the 13th movies, when Jason is about to appear, you get a musical cue that lets you know he's about to appear. In this movie, we have something very similar, all besides it's not a musical cue. Instead, we have a killer who starts to laugh off in the distance. So when you hear the killer laughing, you know that he's somewhere pretty close by and that he could strike at any given time. It's just something that I thought was pretty unique about the killer in Tower of Evil. As far as the kills go in this movie, it has a pretty high body count, and we get to see a lot of groovy red 70s blood. The kills are set up with suspense, but unfortunately, we don't get to see all the kills. Oftentimes, we only see the aftermath. But even with saying that, the kills are still a lot of fun to watch. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie, so I'm highly going to recommend Tower of Evil from 1972. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen Tower of Evil, or just let me know what you think of my review. And I would like to thank you all for watching.